Hi, All Stars! It's me, Sitara, also known as Samantha Faye. I'm here because Dave has asked me to create a little video for you, and he has sent me a bunch of questions. So what I've decided to do is I'm gonna read through the questions. I'm gonna let that just marinate, all the ingredients marinate into the field. Then what I'm going to do is open a container, and a container that's going to allow me to tune into and channel the energy of the All-Star group so that I can tap into some of those specific questions. And maybe there's one line in here that is specifically for you because that's what I know how to do best. So I'm gonna go ahead, we'll start with the questions that he has sent me. So like I said, we can get them marinating into this container that we're creating. I'll set the prayer and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm just so excited to be here. Yay, wonderful. Thanks, Dave. All right, so the questions here. How do you access these superpowers that we know we all have? What is the secret? What is the favorite thing that your gifts have done for you? What is the one thing that each of my all-stars could do today to help enrich their lives? Does everybody have gifts? Can they be developed? How? That question in and of itself is like a 6-month course, just saying. What can we do as a group to raise the vibration of all humanity's consciousness? We have a lot of death and trauma. How do we deal with grief? Death of children and loved ones. How do we grieve properly to allow ourselves to grieve? Is that a thing? What is the meaning of life? Why are we all here? How do we find our gifts and our purpose? I just created a YouTube video on that one specifically today. How do we not let fear control us? How can you take your gifts or passions and turn them into a business? Also, love these questions. Love these questions. All right. So, I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. I have been a practicing psychic medium for the last 10 years. I was born with extrasensory abilities, although I did not know or understand that I was different, that I functioned differently in this world than many other people. I have taught and trained intuitive entrepreneurs how to grow a business working with like-minded individuals focused solely on healing and ascension. So I teach psychics how to grow a client-based business. I've read for psychic hotlines. I teach people how to connect with their angelic wings. I teach you how to access your soul memories. And everything in between. So all of these questions, of course, are right in alignment with my favorite things to talk about. In this last year, I've also started channeling light language, light codes. And so the light language is something that I 100% believe every single human being on this planet can speak. It is the original language of your very own soul that is most closely associated with God. Source, universe, however you want to see that energy if the G word scares you. So, these light codes, how this was activated for me, went from one day not speaking them at all to another day completely speaking them 100% fluently in a matter of 10 minutes. So, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm happy to share it with you. Let's go ahead and open the container. I'm going to tune back into some of these questions and go back into a monologue, question, answer, one-person interview forum. You ready? All right. So as we call in divine truth and love into the sacred space, we invoke the highest possible healing for each and every all-star, for Dave and myself. We ask for the courage and compassion to speak and to hear from the purest form of self-love and forgiveness to all involved. Okay, so the first question that's coming up to my mind is the question on grief. What is grief? How do we handle it? We've had a really tumultuous year, a lot of grief, a lot of changes. Grief isn't always just about, excuse me, The loss of a loved one. Grief is a breakup. Grief is a loss of a job. Grief is change. Grief is getting rid of old furniture. Grief is getting a new car. All of these things are in the grief category of shifting and changing and rearranging. Now, for me personally, as a medium, somebody that can communicate with spirit outside of body, specifically lost loved ones, I see death very differently. So to me, these categories are a little bit separate. How do we handle grief in any way, shape, or form? Is we sit with it. You feel it. You feel the sensations. Pain is your greatest teacher. You develop the skills to become your own guru by feeling your pain. Integrating a painful experience rather than running from it is going to teach you absolutely every single thing you need to know about moving forward. When you experience grief or loss or some sort of traumatic experience where change happened abruptly, what happens is there's a part of your psyche, there's a part of your energy body that fragments in that space of time. And in that space of time, it holds those parts of yourself until you're able to circle back and carry them with you. So for people who have experienced trauma in early childhood, what happens is in that traumatic experience, there's a separation, there's a fragmentation. Part of you goes on living in survival and part of you gets stuck in that space of time. Now, I don't believe that time only exists in this long drawn out linear form in 3D. What I believe, because I have personally experienced it, is that time also exists in a spherical cycle. So when you reach a certain point in your emotional maturity, meaning you have the emotional capacity as a developed adult, you are able to then go back to the memory of trauma and retrieve those parts of yourself that have been fragmented and go into the pain. When you go into the pain and you feel it because you have the emotional capacity to know that you can withstand the pain, you can feel the pain, you actually integrate that part of yourself back into your conscious awareness, and the rest of your life changes. There's actually a domino effect that happens in the memories from what takes place when you integrate that particular part of yourself. So, grief. Grief is loss, grief is pain. The reason we feel so much grief when there's a loss of a loved one is because we feel ourselves living with them. How many people right now in your life can you feel yourself living with? Like, I'm sitting in this house alone, but the amount of people whose energy I feel in my heart right now is a lot. If any one of those connections severed or ended, I would feel it and it would hurt. The sensation of that grief is not the loss of a loved one, it's actually the loss of the reflection of ourselves we see in that person. So if that person is very, very close to us, we see a mirror that is so close, that is so tangible, that when that mirror disappears, we have an egoic identity dissolution. There's a part of our egoic identity that dissolves and goes away with them. We feel that we have lost a part of ourselves because in a sense we have. But here's the beautiful thing about mediumship. Our soul is eternal. Our soul is immortal. So, when a person or an animal passes away and we experience the trauma of grief or we experience the trauma of loss, we are losing the egoic identity of who we thought we were with them in our lives. We are not losing the person. We're losing the time and the interactions and maybe potentially the support and love and affection and these things, of course. There's a physicality to it. I'm not sidestepping that. There is a physicality to it. There is a retraining of the brain. There is a retraining of time spent through the day that happens. But the soul of that person is actually closer to you than they ever were in the body. Ever. They're with you. They become omnipresent. You can communicate with them more clearly than you were able to before. Telepathy is one of the abilities that is under the psychic umbrella. And telepathic communication is one thing that a human being can do with another human being, but it's also how our mediumship abilities work. All human beings have the capacity to be able to communicate telepathically. The reason that you don't think you have is because you have been trained by media that psychics are fortune tellers, that psychics are charlatans, that psychics don't know what they're talking about, that psychics are weird and scary. But telepathy is a basic human function. It's actually a basic human function. The reason that you are not highly astute and attuned to your telepathic abilities is because you believe you don't have them. When you believe that you have them and you start to become aware that they exist, because I can guarantee you right now that you're already using your telepathic abilities, you just don't know that you're doing it. Think of a friend, maybe a best friend in childhood or somebody that you know now, that if they looked at you, if they made eye contact with you and you knew what they were thinking, that's telepathic communication. If your spouse doesn't know what they want to do for dinner, doesn't know what they want to make for dinner, and you're coming home and you decide to stop by, let's say, the grocery store and pick up some food, you picked up on their telepathic communication that was saying, I don't know what to do about dinner. And so you're like, I think it's a good idea to pick up dinner tonight. That's telepathic communication. Clairvoyance is your imagination. Clairvoyance is your visualization. Clairsentience is the ability to feel the emotions of others. This is the strongest one for me. This was hands down. Now, empaths, to know about being an empath is like the gateway drug. It's like the gateway word substance into this territory. You can go, I'm an empath, meaning you're highly sensitive or susceptible to the energy in the room. You can feel the emotions of others. All of us are already using our psychic abilities. Again, the reason we don't explore them, and I actually included this in a YouTube Live that I recently did about imagination, how our imagination is deprogrammed out of us at a very early age. Your imagination is your superpower. Your imagination, that's why visualization works, is because you're creating on the fifth dimension. You're creating in this higher field of awareness. But the thing about this higher field of awareness is that it's right here between me and this iPad that I'm connecting with right now. There is a bunch of air, and in that air is a bunch of energetic frequencies. Energetic frequencies, sound frequencies, they're all the same. So as a psychic, what I say is that I translate frequency into English language. I am a translator of frequency into communication so that I can break down complex or subtle energies so that humans can understand it, because that's my role. That's what I am here to do, among many other things. But that's one of them. So, grief in and of itself is a frequency. Grief is an emotion that is catapulted by a whole bunch of other emotions. But the best way to get through grief is to create an egoic understanding that part of your egoic identity has died. So yes, that person, place, or thing, whatever it is gone. You lose a job, your egoic identity, gone. Grief is a loss of an egoic identity. Now, missing somebody that was there with you, yes, this is also grief, but ultimately it's the frequency. It's the interaction that you're missing. It's the frequency inside of yourself that was evoked by their presence. It hasn't gone anywhere. It has simply transmuted from one frequency into another. This is a beautiful thing. Death is not absolute. We think it is, but it isn't. It's a doorway. Our bodies, this physical body, it's made of carbon. It's paper thin. The reality that we're living in is a hologram. It's maybe the first time you're hearing this. It is a hologram. This is why your subconscious mind creates a reality, because you are living in a hologram. And your hologram will interact with other people's holograms, and they will move and they will shift and they will change. But if you really understood how many things that happen in your world aren't actually real, you'd start to truly understand what it is that matters to you. For you to be able to end your own suffering, for you to be able to get out of your own way, as they say in the entrepreneurial world, the best thing you can do for yourself is to sit and feel what you are feeling without judgment, without hesitation, without expectation, but to feel and allow your mind to be the receptor of the pain, so that your mind is not guiding, because when your mind is controlling, it's very limited. Very limited. When we talk about consciousness and conscious awakening, what it means is to go from you're doing something but you don't know that you're doing it, to you're doing something and you do know that you're doing it. That's the secret to developing psychic abilities. It's to know that what you are doing is using your extrasensory abilities and you're already doing it. So the way that I teach is I actually teach people to heal themselves by understanding energy and how it works. Once you understand energy and how it works through your emotions and feelings, you will pick up on the subtle frequencies that are around you, and you will learn how to move around them and move with them. So an experience that is as heavy as grief, you can celebrate the fact that the person that you are grieving is in an extraordinarily beautiful place. A place where this concrete, dense matter doesn't exist. It's light, it's beautiful, it's full of opportunity, it's full of growth, it's full of ascension, it's full of peace, it's full of love. So that if we can turn loss into a celebration of a new beginning that is right there in front of us, it will completely change your entire experience around suffering. Because suffering and clinging on to what has taken place in the past is created by the illusion of control that the egoic identity thinks it has on this life experience. So I'm going to share some light codes with you that will help you to really understand this. We'll also plant a seed within you that will start to germinate and grow as you continue to raise your vibrational frequency by choosing fruits and vegetables to eat that are good for you, eliminating processed foods. Be a water snob. Drink good water. Ixnay on the fluoride. No more fluoride toothpaste, no more fluoride water. Hear me on this one. Sotakeo wa oapokua satani iakaya wa suataiakaya siatatakeo wa poakaya haakawa suapukua sayataya wa poakoa tayataya sutuapukua haakaya soyatani iakoa poakaya wa oa sayakaya huaya wa poapotania iowa poatania iakaya wa saoataya hiawakaya wa suupuataya wa uapuaya haya wa puakua Hoya saya wa pua tania wa pua koa satania aya kaya wa oa pua ya kaya oa pua kaya. Just peeling away layers of programming that have taught you to believe that you are less than anything than your full expressive divine self. That you are free and safe to express, that you are free and safe to emote and feel your emotions, that you are free and safe to feel your intuition opening up in a much broader sense, in a much grander scale, opening the field of your awareness to the infinite possibilities that are here for you. I know that if you're here in Dave's All-Star program, you're a special someone. I know that Dave magnetizes some absolutely incredible people. What a wonderful human being and a gift to the world. We all get to experience each other in this space. Aya satana ya wa oa kaya haakaya wa po taya koa tania kaya tania oa sayatana ya wa pokoa. Pukua satani kia wa pukua pu soya haakaya wa po tania hua kaya wa poa hua pua kaya poa hoa pua kaya wa pua kua pua satani hi awa pua kaya. Just take a couple nice big deep breaths and just simply feel for a moment. I'm going to be quiet, silent for a moment so you can just simply feel what you're feeling. Notice what you notice. Allowing yourself to be fully full of you, your vibrancy, your radiance. Beauty of your own divine vibrancy, illuminating. All right, here's another good one. How do we find our gifts and our purpose? By doing what you want. What? Mind blown, I know. When you do what you want, you are experiencing joy, and the vibrancy of joy is magnetism. It is magnetism. Joy, enthusiasm, these are frequencies that cut through anything. Fear, doubt, insecurity, pride, family programming, thinking that you have to impress your family or be good, do good, follow in the family footsteps, whatever that is, that, oh man, it's a dream killer. I can't go for that. Oh no, no can do. I can't go for that. Oh no, no can do. Allowing yourself to be joyful, allowing yourself to be vibrant, allowing yourself to be happy and healthy and full of ease is how you find your purpose. I literally just today, I did a whole video on YouTube specifically about this one. It is so easy to find your purpose. But the thing is that people think they have to go on quests all over the world and they have to do this and they have to do that and they have to do this. You don't. You feel what brings you the most joy and you do more of that. And if for 1 second, the next question in your head is, how do I make money? You're missing the point. You did not come here on this planet to make as much money as you possibly could. Spoiler alert, you did not, your purpose is not to make as much money as possible. That's not your purpose. So stop focusing on that. Joy will break down the illusion of everything you've been taught, everything you've paid thousands of dollars to learn from other people. I have done it myself. I paid people tens of thousands of dollars to believe what they were saying above my own internal insights. And that was the most expensive mistake I've ever made. This is not to say don't mentor with people. This is not to say don't get into groups. These things are rich, they're vibrant, they're full of connections, they're full of magic. It's incredible what people are creating. And while you are in them, always follow your gut. Always follow your intuition and always follow your joy. And if the group you are in does not support that, feel what you need to feel around that, because it might be grief and it might be inspiration. If you're in this all-star group with Dave, I'm guessing that it's going to be leading to inspiration. This is powerful medicine for your soul. This is powerful medicine for your soul. So feel with me for a moment. Open your heart with me for a moment. You are an extraordinary human being, and I am so deeply grateful to be sharing space with you in this way. Might sound funny because you're sitting there watching me on a video, but I can tell you right now that I can feel you in my heart, and I am so thankful for that connection. Thank you for loving with me. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for showing me how to expand and show up as a better version of myself by learning how to best support you in this energetic container. Because in this space that we are in, there is no space, there is no time. I'm sitting there with you right now, no matter when you're watching this, as you are sitting here with me right now as I am filming it. Some closing thoughts here. Nothing in this world is as it seems. Not a single thing. Everything you've been taught in school is limiting the capacity of your potential as a divine, sovereign being embodied in the human form. And peel, banana, peel, banana, and peel, banana, peel, banana. Let it fall away. Fall away, fall away, fall away, fall away, fall away, fall away. All right, so take a couple nice big deep breaths. You just moved with way more energy than you think you did, by the way. That's my secret. Big deep breath. 2 more, big deep breath, in through the nose. 1 more, biggest, make it count, make it count, make it count. Filling your lungs all the way to the tippy, 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 tippy top. Suck in 1 more little bit. And letting it go, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. You did it. Okay, so give yourself a moment right now. Close your eyes and see a number. This is the number of times that it is important for you to go back and listen to this video. There are many layers inside of this that when you are listening to it once, you'll hear a sentence and then your mind will wander and come back to integrate. and then you'll come back in, you'll hear a sentence, and your mind will wander, and you'll come back in to integrate, and then another sentence, your mind will wander and come back. So it's like that. When you come and listen to this again, you'll hear a sentence that you didn't hear before that will then need time to integrate and come back. So there are a lot of different layers inside of this loving transmission that will help you to continue to understand who you are at the core of your own divine birthright, so that you may be free in your own skin, so that you may feel the essence of your divine sovereignty as an autonomous spirit inside a human body, and rather your human body is inside your spirit, because the energetic being that is you is so much bigger than your third dimensional human form. And when you start to open your heart, your conscious awareness to understanding this about yourself, your entire world will change in all of the best ways. And I will say that there will be experiences of grief on that path, because not everything in your world right now is going to go with you to where you're going. And that's a beautiful thing. Let it happen. My sweet and loving friend, I adore you. Thank you for spending this time with me. I am Sitara. Means morning star in Sanskrit. Is a name that came to me when I started channeling light language. You can find me online all over the place as Samantha Faye. I adore you. I love you. As we go forth, may we integrate the healing and the lessons received with courage, self-love, and compassion. Our connection here today is complete. And let's offer big, deep, heartfelt gratitude to Dave for connecting us here in this way today. All right. Mwah! Ciao, ciao.